We welcome you into ECAV Stadium from Troy, New York. It's the Ithaca College Bombers and the RPI Engineers squaring off for a little afternoon matchup, Liberty League, and it's going to be a good one. RPI, really tall team, really strong and physical, and Ithaca coming off one of their best games of the season over the St. Lawrence Saints, looking to continue their momentum. Cam, it's really going to be a battle of size today. 6'4" and 6 foot on that RPI side. How are they going to get around it?
Yeah, their shortest player also is 5'7". You don't see that a lot at the women's basketball level, seeing this kind of size and their ability down low to make a ton of plays. The Bombers are playing kind of their best basketball right now. RPI's lost some heartbreakers against some good teams, but this is the time of year where things have to begin to go right. Your trial and error period is done. You're past the halfway point of the season, entering the heart of Liberty League play. The Bombers, though, match up extremely well against this RPI team. You see that size down low. The experience is what helps the Bombers. Yes, you look at Flynn on the RPI side at the 6'4" size, but as a freshman, Yorio and Watkins, so experienced, their ability down low. That's what Ithaca has on this team, the ability to know and having that trial and error period with a lot of seniors.
And it doesn't necessarily have to be playing to the whole 6'4". You're never going to be as tall as 6'4", but how are you going to get around her? How are you going to make her work for things in the paint? Maybe covering her, guarding her a little bit of a different way. I mean, I know Coach Raymond has been drawing up some plays trying to combat the different things that this RPI team does.
And you can force a double team, too. This RPI squad shooting right around 27% from downtown. They're not going to spread the perimeter. They want to do one thing really well, and that's work the interior. Once Ithaca can find a way to stop that, it opens up a lot for this team to move in transition, find the other way. RPI wants to play a slow brand of basketball and work the interior the whole entire night.
Well, we're getting set for tip-off here at ECAV Stadium. Your starters for the Ithaca Bombers: Annabella Yorio, Emma Waite, Zoraida Icabal-Seta, Anya Watkins, and Libby Maka. Maka, a new addition to this starting group for the Bombers, but really emerged in the Yorio injury. She's been playing phenomenal basketball recently.
And that confidence right now, top to bottom, she understands where things are going to work, and that's the biggest jump that you take from your freshman to sophomore season. Her playing her best basketball is huge for this group.
Starters on the floor for RPI: Sienna Smith, Callie Flynn, Amanda Gallagher, as well as Tyler Hormazabal. And rounding out that starting rotation, Julia Rowe. Tip-off is off. Annabella Yorio and Callie Flynn take it. Yorio has the tip. Icabal-Seta bounce pass to Yorio at the top of the key. Yorio looking back to Icabal-Seta on the far side. She looks for someone on the interior, can't find it. Waite hucks up a three from just the top of the key. No good, and RPI gets their first possession. Here comes Sienna Smith. Smith averaging about 13 points a game. She's been phenomenal, the scoring leader for this team. Here's Flynn on the near side, all of 6'4". In comes Sienna Smith into the paint, working on Icabal-Seta. Now number 14, Callie Smith moving in. She's fouled by Libby Maka.
Strong drive there to the left side for RPI and make it kind of just the last second. Got a late jump towards that area and got a quick arm hack, and immediately RPI showing their rush towards the interior.
So Gallagher has 2 shots. She makes her first, and an early 1-0 lead for the Engineers. Gallagher, a 67.7 shooter from the free throw stripe. She makes both of hers and has RPI's first points on the board. Full court press for the Engineers as Waite gets it over the timeline over to Maka. Waite directing play at the logo, right at the eye of that RPI logo. Waite to her right side to Maka on the far side. Maka just beyond the arc finds Watkins at the top of the key. Jump shot goes down. 2-2 Ithaca, 2-2 tie game with about 9 minutes to go here as RPI looks to get back to work. Amanda Gallagher, all of 6 foot tall, hands it off to Hormazabal. Hormazabal, the leading facilitator on this team. She's got 4 assists per game. That's first in the Liberty League. Here comes Julia Rowe down in the paint, manages to find Gallagher, and she's got the layup good.
Rowe, a really good job driving baseline, jumping in the air, a quick double clutch for that pass.
Bombers trying to spread the defense out for this Engineers team. Here's Maka down low. She turns around and hands it back to Waite on the near side, but can't pick it up before it flies out of bounds.
A big thing to note, too, is Ithaca's struggles in the first quarter. So far this season, 192 total points in the first. RPI 258. Shows you how Ithaca's had some very sluggish starts to begin games.
4-2, RPI with the lead with about 8 minutes to go here. Hormazabal, guarded by Waite on the far side, hands it off to Sienna Smith. Smith to her right side, hands it off to Julia Rowe. Rowe looking for someone. She'll try and penetrate down the post. She can't get past Watkins. On the far side now, just beyond the arc, she's guarded heavily by Watkins, swarmed. Finally gets it off to Hormazabal, who dribbles into the paint, just floats a shot off before the shot clock rings out. And it's an Ithaca basketball.
Very strong possession.
Here's Iqbal Seta, rainbows a pass to Watkins, bodies her way into the paint, misses the layup, second chance, no good, and Hormazabal has the rebound. Couple of tries there for Ithaca, but no dice. Tries to get in for Flynn, and Yorio fouls her on the pass there.
Yorio was trailing Flynn the whole entire way, had to grab her shoulder at the last second. So RPI, a tough offensive possession, really good stop on the interior, showing their size, and then get back in transition and forcing Yorio to foul, who's had a lot of issues in the foul department throughout her whole entire career.
And if you had to guess with both of these defenses and the way they play, this has to be sort of a low-scoring game that we're expecting unless either team just abandons that and tries to get to work on offense. RPI swings it around the horseshoe. Here's Smith. She's guarded heavily by three Bombers. Now finds Gallagher, guarded by Maka. Into the paint. Here's Sienna Smith again. And Iqbal Seta pokes it free. Maka has it. She's moving quick the other way. Across the logo and into the paint. Layup is off the glass and good. 4-4. Back to a tie game for the Bombers here with 7 minutes to go in quarter number one.
And Maka's a forward going coast to coast right there. Shows her ball skills as a player that plays the 4 and 5.
Coach Raymond has said she's incredibly athletic. She can run, she can shoot, and if you let her do it, she'll tear you up. So RPI gets back to work. Here's Hormazabal on the near side, trying to turn around and twist up Emma Waite. Now finds Sienna Smith, moving quick on the inside, misses the layup, but no Bomber rebound. And finally, Yorio has it off the second chance from Flynn.
And strong defense there over Flynn. Yorio doing a really good job with a hand in her face.
Iqbal Seta on the far side. Swings it to Yorio, top of the key. Now here's Micah. Micah to Waite. Waite tries to look for the three-pointer and swings it back to Micah on the near side. Make a jump shot, no good. And Amanda Gallagher has the rebound but throws it away. Couldn't find one of her players. Waite and Micah collide. Yorio on the far side looks from beyond the arc, no. Back to Waite. She'll try and slow things down with 20 seconds on the shot clock. 4-4, still a tie game. Micah has it on the near side. Micah bounce pass to Iqbal Seta. She's moving quick on the near side. Here's Watkins from the free throw stripe, can't hit.
Long possession there for the Bombers, kind of slowed down from the collision.
Gallagher tries for a jumper. That one just short, and Micah has the rebound. Bounce pass to Emma Waite. She's been kind of all over the floor tonight as she tries to work coast to coast. Bounce pass for Watkins. She's guarded by Gallagher and turned away. Gallagher with 12 blocks on the year, make it 13 as she gets set on the far side. Here's Hormazabal calling out plays. Now for Smith, driving towards the low block. Jump shot no good. Waite has the rebound. Definitely a challenging game, too, for Emma Waite. Just 5 foot tall against these very tall RPI players.
But she plays very strong defense for her height.
And very quick, too. That almost like a running back position. You can kind of get into lanes sometimes. Here's Watkins holding the ball just beyond the arc straight away. Now passes it off to Waite. Waite working down towards the low block, and the layup is good. 6-4, Ithaca with their first lead of the evening.
Really good job right there with the ball movement down low and being able to pass through RPI's kind of zone defense they brought out.
Hormazabal brings it across the center stripe. Hands it off to Julia Rowe. Rowe trying to rainbow a pass to Flynn. That's been working for them all of 6-4. Now here's Smith all alone, straightaway three, no good. Hormazabal has the rebound, and the second chance points go down.
Second chance points, such a key for RPI and what they can bring in this basketball game. That's their identity.
Press again for the Engineers. Iqbal Seta all alone on the far side, just off the mark on the three ball, and knocked out of bounds by the Engineers.
And what Zoraida's brought to the table, too, and when we've been able to chat with Coach Dan Raymond, her confidence, kind of that true player now that can have the ball in their hands and be reliable to shoot. She'll come out of the game here. Madison Gill, the freshman, checks in, and they bring in Isla Dervisevic, too, very early on.
Dervisevic been seeing some more minutes recently, has had a three ball in each of her last 4 games as Smith gets the takeaway from the Bombers, looking for a teammate. Here's Hormazabal, jumper goes down good. 8-6 with 4 minutes left here in quarter number one. Wait rainbows a pass over to Dervisevic so they can get it over the timeline, and back to Wait so she can call out some plays. To her left side, here's Dervisevic. Now Watkins at the straightaway. Bombers swinging it around the horn as Wait tries to work into the paint. She can't find anyone. Bounce pass for Watkins, straight back to Wait for the 3-ball, no. And Flynn has the board.
Strong shot, though, from Wait. The Bombers working inside out.
Hormazabal, bullet pass to Smith, working against Annabella Iorio. The height too much, knocks her to the ground and gets the block. Iorio trying to work it the other way, misses the layup again. And a rare occurrence for Annabella Iorio to be missing shots. She's been lights out these last 2 weekends. 2 10-plus point games in a row, 31 points last weekend against both Clarkson and St. Lawrence.
And there, too, almost tried to rush her shot to the left. Rowe, really strong defense there, got a hand up, and then forced Watkins to foul.
Bombers will try and slow it down. Hand off to Hormazabal. She's at the straightaway. Here's Gallagher now. Gallagher trying to work in on Gill. She can't do it. Plants her feet and hands it off to Hormazabal. Working at the high post. Hands it off to Gallagher. One bounce and the layup. 10-6 with 2 minutes and 45 seconds remaining in quarter number 1. Dervisevic on the far side. Now to Wait. They're playing back and forth as Iorio miscommunication with Watkins. She was moving the opposite direction her pass went and just threw it straight out of bounds underneath the basket.
You almost feel right now the Bombers are trying to play RPI's game, working the interior really strongly, and they haven't really have been that perimeter shooting. The Bombers 0 for 3 from deep, have not found that way, so they're trying to go to the interior, but that's RPI's strength.
RPI doing a good job so far on guarding the Bombers on the interior. Here's Julia Rowe. Her hands ripped down by Emma Wade as she tried to work in down the lane. So Rowe will have 2 shots here. Emma Wade with her first.
And now this will be interesting, too, for the Bombers, bringing in Junie Dixon. You bring Iorio out. Now you're asking kind of Gill, Watkins, more Gill and Dixon to play a little bit taller down low than they're used to.
Rowe misses her first free throw. A 68% shooter from the stripe. Second one goes down, so 11-6. Engineers still with the lead. Wait hands it off to Dixon, who gets it across the half-court line. Back to Wait. Still down deep. Here's Watkins on the near side. Bombers swing it around. Rainbow pass into Gill. Gill all the way out to the exterior, and that one's poked away by Sienna Smith.
This is a very perimeter rotation for the Bombers. Multiple shooters on the floor right now. With now Zoraida coming back in, a very strong shooting rotation. We'll see how this affects RPI's defense.
Bombers maybe trying to get a couple shots off beyond the perimeter. Haven't had too many looks from deep so far, as Junie Dixon gets the inbound to Ika Balsetta, who works to her right side. Guarded by Julia Rowe, rainbow pass to Watkins, who works around 2 defenders and gets it off the glass.
Great double clutch pump fake there from Watkins going to her left side.
11-8, Engineers still with the lead, under 2 minutes to go now here. Hormazabal hands it off to Flynn, who dishes it over to O'Neal, who checked in for the first time, and she throws it out of bounds. Iorio's going to check back in here. She'll replace Watkins. And Ika Balsetta, guarded by Hormazabal, makes her way over the logo. To her left side, here's Dixon. Bounce pass to Gill at the straightaway 3. Gill decides to dribble, tries to hand it off to Ika Balsetta, but Hormazabal with the steal. She tries to work in, off the glass, just long. Iorio gets the rebound. Gill still trailing. Ika Balsetta pump fakes the 3, now drives down the lane. Layup off the glass, no. Couple of missed shots for the Bombers, just killing them early.
Wide open layup. Almost looked like Zoraida went to her wrong hand and kind of got confused in the air.
Tried for the finger roll and just didn't have enough finesse to put it away. Here's O'Neal, guarded by Gill. She gets a pass off to Rowe, and here's Smith. Dervisevic gets the foul on her, though, rips her arms down as she tries to go up for the layup.
Just a really good play there from RPI. That far left wing, Smith is there. Rose sets a back screen, and then Dervasevic the whole entire time is behind Smith, so she's forced a foul. A really good just play design there by the Engineers.
Flynn checks out for Amelia Rojic, as Smith clangs her first free throw off of the iron, and Libby Micah checks back in. She replaces Maddie Gill as Smith misses her second. Rare occurrence from the best shooter on this team. Bombers with one more chance, just under a minute to go. Ikabalseta kicks it with her foot, manages to regain possession. Here's Dixon in the paint. Now Dervasevic from three, can't hit. Yorio has the rebound though. Ikabalseta all alone, triple try, no good. Rebound, Engineers fighting for it is Micah, and they'll get the jump ball. Possession arrow in favor of the Engineers, so they'll get the inbound.
And look, a possession there for the Bombers where you missed those two wide open threes, but Ithaca now rebounding better, second chance points. Those shots at some point are going to fall when you give enough volume to big shooters like Zoraida.
Bombers in the full court press. They finally get it off the inbound. It's O'Neal. Dribbling hard to her left side, hands it off to Smith. She dribbles with her right, passes in the interior. Here's Rojic working on Micah. Now Ashlyn O'Neal throws up a three. She can't get it to go. 15 seconds to go. Zoraida working quick to her right. She taps her head, calls out a play with 10 seconds to go in the first quarter. Micah to her right side, tries to work in underneath the basket. Dixon straight away, and a great pass, good play set up. As time expires here in the first quarter, 11-10. RPI still with the lead here, and truthfully, just inaccurate shots really hurting the Bombers here.
Yeah, 0 for 5 from downtown right now, really hurting this Bomber squad. Yes, not a big three-point shooting team, 26% on the season, but for the wide open shots they've got, and because the interior is so tough, it was a struggling first quarter, but they stay very close in striking distance, down by 1.
And got to be frustrating for this Ithaca team, considering you're coming off your best shooting game of the season. You shot 51% from the field and 50% from three, and you come out a little cold so far here up in Troy, New York.
But it seems like every game, and even in the wins that they've had of late, the first quarter has not been Ithaca's best quarter all season long. They've had the very slow starts. They do a very good job adjusting and coming back out in quarter two and the halftime break and just playing better basketball right now. And it's not like RPI is showing anything defensively that's fooling the Bombers. They've had a lot of open looks, open layups as well that have not gone through. It's just a matter of time where right now you like your chances because it's been open shots that haven't been falling.
Just one three-point try, too, for the Engineers, so the Bombers doing a good job guarding the perimeter if they can figure out a way to lock down the paint. Might close the gap a little bit further, but like you said, Cam, it's been slow starts, slow goings for the Bombers here in the early workings. Really the only outlier was last weekend's game against the Saints where they put up 25 in the first quarter. Coach Raymond saying it was the first full 40-minute effort he'd seen out of this team. And
that's a really good thing to have coming into this game, but the thing that they've learned too, and it's been a talk all season, is when things are not going right, sticking together and bouncing back in the next quarter.
Underway here in quarter three, it's Ikabalseta moving to her right side. Now Dixon into the paint for Yorio. Yorio pivoting on one foot. She finds Dervasevic on the near side. Now here's Dixon working to the right. Dixon bounce pass for Micah. She's guarded by Hormazabal. The Bombers get it back and passes all over the floor. Here's Micah, the jumper, no good, but gets her own rebound. Dervasevic to her left side. She finds Yorio. Yorio for the three ball, just short. Has the rebound. Out to Ikabalseta beyond the arc. Can she hit? Finally, the first three ball for the Bombers falls. And a 13-11 game, Ithaca finally with the lead back. 3
offensive rebounds on that possession. Even Yorio shot a three and just sharing the basketball. What a start.
Yorio hadn't shot a three before this year. She's made a couple this season, so interesting to see her taking that option every once in a while. Engineers trying to get back to work. Here's Julia Rowe, guarded by Annabella Yorio just on the low lane. Hands it off to Sienna Smith, moving fast in the layup off the glass. It makes it a tie game again, 13-13 with 9 minutes to go here.
And the Bombers have not been able to stop Smith.
Zoraida working quick. Here's Dixon from three. That one just off the glass. Dervasevic has the rebound, and a travel, took a step before she dribbled. And something this Bomber team has done incredibly well is move with a fast pace. They like a fast pace, They like to work quick, but this RPI team, quite the opposite, like to move really slow.
Yeah, and that's where the Bombers and neither side wants one team to dictate the pace of this game.
Emma Waite with pestering defense on Hormazabal can barely get it over the timeline. She moves to her left side now, dribbles a couple times and dishes it to Julia Rowe, who finds Smith on the interior, but Waite has the steal, and she'll pick up a foul.
Frustration foul there on Smith, kind of lowering the shoulder after Waite played the good defense. RPI found their mismatch. It was a box out with Waite on Smith, but just couldn't hold on to the basketball. That's Waite's pesky defense down low.
Smith 5'9", Emma Waite just 5 foot tall. And she's had trouble getting shots to go so far, the leading scorer for the Engineers. As Waite just beyond the arc on the far side. Overhead pass to Ithaca Balsetta, who moves back to the right. Finds Tori Drevna, who's in the game for the first time. Drevna, just a high pass to Yorio, a little bit frustrated about that one. Smith to Hormazabal on the far side. She dribbles into the paint, one-handed shot. Got it. 15-13. Engineers back with the lead here in their home stadium. Here's Ithaca Balsetta. To her right side, it's Drevna beyond the arc. Now for Yorio at the straightaway. She dribbles to her left side. Bounce pass for Waite, and the Butterfingers continue to haunt the Bombers.
Just back-to-back possessions where the Bombers not holding onto the basketball, just routine, lackadaisical, giving it right back to RPI. Bombers now with 6 turnovers, and they have 2 in the last 30 seconds.
Bombers in the full court press now, trying to find a way to take care of the basketball. It's O'Neal with it. Now Hormazabal, but poked away by Waite and out of bounds. Ithaca in the white and blue jerseys, it'll be their possession. They're moving from right to left. RPI in the red jerseys with the white stripes and the black lettering. Emma Waite gets it, moves to her right. Here's Tori Drevna. Drevna bounces to her left. Make a rainbows a pass here to Yorio, who takes a jumper from the free throw stripe, and Drevna has the rebound. Out to Ithaca Balsetta. Baseline pass for Yorio. Jump shot, no. And ripping it away from Hormazabal is Yorio. I think they'll call it a jump ball. No, a foul.
Going to be on Hormazabal down low. Yorio just doing a good job, and you can even see from Ray and I's angle just the fatigue from Yorio down low, doing so much right now and being asked to contribute a lot.
Bombers doing a really great job on the offensive rebound, though, working really hard to get their own passes. Here's Zoraida Ithaca Balsetta all alone on the far side. That one just short, that J shot. So tough to hit sometimes. 15-13 with about 6:45 to go here in quarter number 2. It's Smith moving to her left side, now for O'Neal. O'Neal passes it back out for Rojic. Rojic back out for Smith, who moves into the paint. Quick pass, and Zoraida has the block. And Emma Waite takes it away as Rojic tried to kick it back out for Gallagher. Emma Waite trying to move down the lane. Kick out a pass for Tori Drevna. Triple try, no good. Bombers almost had the rebound, but Emma Waite couldn't keep it in bounds.
Zoraida did a good job crashing the board. She got a hand on the basketball, almost gave them a chance to save it. But once again, just the perimeter shooting right now, 1 for 9. The volume's increasing, just not being able to knock down open shots.
And Ithaca Balsetta with just 6 blocks on the year. At her height, just 5'4", pretty impressive what she's able to do. And the intention that she puts into making sure she's getting her hand on just the basketball. Here's O'Neal moving to her left side. Bounce pass to Rojic. Rojic now for Gallagher, who's moving outside the perimeter. Hormazabal backs up a little bit to the R on the RPI logo with 5 minutes and 53 seconds remaining. Moves to her left side. Bounce pass for Rojic, and they can't get the shot off before the shot clock moves. O'Neal has the blocking foul on Emma Waite as she was trying to move quick the other way.
Tough job there from RPI, kind of hurting themselves, trying to play that press defense, but it's also not a bad foul there for the Engineers. You slow down the Bombers' pace of play getting over midcourt.
Emma Waite gets the inbound, moves it over the line. To her left side, here's Drevna. Drevna, overhead pass for Maka, who's just in the low lane. Maka jumping over Gallagher, but can't get it to fall. Engineers have the rebound here. Smith on the near side. Smith at the low block now. Kick out pass for Rojic. And taken away by Libby Maka. Looking for her teammates. She'll decide to drive to the basket. Instead, the layup goes down and makes it a tie game. 15-15 here with about 5 minutes to go.
Maka lowering the shoulder down low.
Being physical, part of her game. She plays taller than she is. Here's Smith trying to do more of the same on the far side. The turn and shoot and knocks it down. 17-15 with just under 5 to go now. Emma Waite will slow it down, call out plays, calls for motion, and moves to her right side. Watkins has it off the bounce pass. Throw in for Maka. That one poked away by O'Neal. It'll stay Bomber ball. A couple of subs coming in for the Engineers. Sophie Costello, as well as Callie Flynn will check back in. That 6'4" presence. Maybe looking for a little bit more size on the interior. Drevna gets it out to Maddie Gill, who just checked back in as well for Maka. Gill to her right side now for Waite. Kick out pass, the 3 ball from Gill, just short, rings off the iron, and Rowe has the rebound.
Another open 3, but a good backstab from the Engineers.
And at some point you have to imagine that these are gonna start falling. Now here's Costello. Kick out for Julia Rowe. Rowe trying to find something. Rowe to her right side. Here's Costello, guarded by Drevna. Costello drives down the lane, off the glass, and the finger roll. That was pretty.
Really good drive to the left side with ease.
19-15, Engineers with the lead. Iqbal Seta with the 3 ball. It doesn't fall, and Costello has the rebound. Big bounce off the iron, and the Engineers having trouble working it out of their own half court. Here's Smith now, moving nice and slow. Smith to her right side. She's pestered by Emma Waite. Almost gets the takeaway. Smith overhead pass to Gallagher. Gallagher drives to the high block. Off the glass. That one just swirls out. Smith with the putback. She's fouled by Emma Waite.
And it's tough for Waite down low there when she gets pushed towards the interior on defense. That shot's about to go up, and Waite's trying to play the defense, but on that size level, you're kind of hacking at the arm at the last second, and it's hurt the Bombers. Waite's going to pick up her second foul.
And like we talked about, this is where the size differential really comes into play, right? Emma Waite at 5 foot, Sienna Smith 5'9". She throws up her first free throw. That one goes down. So a 5-point deficit for the Bombers. It's 20-15. Callie Smith, the senior, Sienna Smith, the senior, knocks down her second. She's 2 for 4 from the stripe so far this evening. 21-15, Bombers look to reset. Emma Waite still out on the floor. Yorio checks back in. Dixon out there as well. Gill overhead pass to Yorio at the straightaway 3. Now here's Dixon moving to her right side. Kick out pass for Waite. Waite bounce pass straight into the hands of Sienna Smith. Sloppy pass and getting the Bombers in trouble. Costello trying to drive towards the basket. She's got no one. Now here's Callie Flynn working on Watkins, bodying her up, and they'll call her a travel. Just picked up that pivot foot.
And it could have been an ugly possession for the Bombers. They pick up their 8th turnover, back the other way. RPI works it inside, but strong defense from the Bombers, almost forcing a double team to cause that travel.
Callie Flynn, too, she's been dangerous in the last couple of games. 5 games in a row with 10 or more points. As Gill tries for the layup, she misses that one, but Dixon corrals the rebound. Emma Waite touches her shoulder and dribbles with her right hand. To her right side now. Now back to her left. Here's Yorio at the top of the key. Kick out pass for Waite, who throws up the 3 ball. It doesn't fall. Watkins almost had the rebound kind of hit off her chest and straight into the arms of Smith. Smith tries to rainbow one over to Flynn, and an inaccurate pass sends it out of bounds.
And this is where RPI has just done a really good job right now, slowing things down and being able to get inside and really stop everything for the Bombers.
Costello tried for the inbound. That one banged off of Maddie Gill's foot and back out of bounds. We'll do a redo.
6-0 run, too.
Finally, the inbound here to Amanda Gallagher, who's guarded by Gill. Costello with a deafening scream knocks over Gill as she was trying to guard the jump shot doesn't fall, so Bombers will work the other way with about 2 minutes to go. 21-15. Waite dribbles with her left hand back to her right. Overhead pass to Dixon, who's trying to work down into the paint. She's guarded by 3 Engineers, can't find anyone. Now here's Yorio on the far side. Waite with the 3 ball. That one long, ricochets off the iron and into the hands of Costello. Costello to Gallagher on the near side. They'll swing it around the horseshoe a little bit, and Costello will try to drive it towards the basket. One-handed pass to Flynn, and she travels again.
Seems like both sides right now getting bailed out with turnovers. The Bombers missing open threes, and RPI right now consistently traveling over and over again. They're going to pick up their 8th overall turnover, just not keeping their feet set inside the paint.
Ithaca Balsetta, the only three-pointer made for the Bombers side. They're shooting 7% from downtown right now. Here's Maka, kick out for Watkins, the jumper just short, but Dixon has the rebound. Overhead pass now to Watkins at the top of the key. Ithaca Balsetta now to her right side. Baseline drive, kick out pass. Here's Maka, the jump shot, no. Missed shots on missed shots for the Bombers.
Just can't catch a break right now.
Here's Julia Rowe from 3 with just about a minute to go. Maka has the easy rebound. Moving it the other way is Dixon. Long pass to Yorio, who moves with the right side and 1. A stoppage in play just about at the minute mark, and it's a 21-17 game.
The Bombers just broke a 3-minute and 45-second 6-0 run that RPI had. It wasn't like RPI was scoring. It was only a 6-0 run that almost lasted half this whole entire quarter.
Yorio with her free throw. She knocks it down, makes it a 3-point game. RPI with the lead 21-18. And under a minute to go here in quarter number 2. Here's Costello driving down the lane and just wide open. Makes it 23-18 with 45 seconds on the clock. Dixon moving to the right side of the court. Here's Maka now. Maka dishes it to Ithaca Balsetta, who bullets the pass over to Watkins on the near side. Now here's Dixon moving into the top of the key. Yorio pulls up with the jumper. Flynn turns her away and straight back into the paint. Now here's Watkins' second chance, but she's fouled. And that's what you got to worry about when you're dealing with someone like Callie Flynn, 6'4", and second in the Liberty League in blocks. You can't be taking silly shots on her.
Yeah, no. And then on that end for the Bombers, finally the offensive rebounds. Right now the Bombers are leading in offensive rebounds, just not getting the second chance points. You think when you're up right now 11-3 in the rebounding department that you're going to be able to score more points. That's just been such a divide right now. It's almost the math that doesn't add up.
Watkins misses her first free throw and nails her second, so 23-20 with 25 seconds remaining. Ormazabal checks back in. She brings it over the logo. Bounce pass over to Gallagher. Gallagher moving to her right side, back to her left, finds Costello. Costello. Angle dribble to the left, now back to the right. At the top of the key, working on Ithaca Balsetta at the high block. She loses the ball, but here's Hormazabal. A kick-out pass off the glass, way long, and that'll do it. For the first half here at the EVAC Center here in Troy, New York, really the story of that first half for the Bombers was just missed shots.
Ton of missed shots right now, and it's not like the game plan isn't working. And sometimes when you see the 7 for 34, the Bombers 20% right now, you think RPI is doing something really well. They are playing good defense, but Ithaca has just missed wide open layups, mid-range shots, 3 balls, and they're only down by 3. So that has to be a bright spot and a testament to their defense right now. And the offensive rebounding, 11-3 in that category.
14 3-ball attempts to 2 for RPI and 34 shots from the field to 22. So they're taking significantly more shots. Those offensive rebounds are working. It's just a matter of time before a couple of them fall. We're going to take a quick break here, though, for halftime. We'll be back here for quarters 3 and 4 on the Bomber YouTube channel. Rana DeCrow, Cam Manna. We'll see you in just a bit. back here from ECAV Stadium. Rihanna DeCrow, Cam Manna with you for the rest of Ithaca women's basketball against the RPI Engineers. Ithaca 6-1 in the Liberty League. RPI at 4-4. And get this, Cam, Ithaca hasn't lost in Troy since 1999 season. That's pretty insane.
And they have not lost in the last 9 meetings. That's the losing streak right now. RPI has had a very tough time. They're still not in double digits in the win category against the Bombers in a large amount of all-time meetings. So a lot on the line here with the Bombers down by 3.
And we got to talk about it, Cam. I mean, this Bomber team, they've struggled in the regular season and all their non-con matchups as well. Haven't won too many of those. So it's basically win the Liberty League or go home at this point. Underway here in quarter number 3, it's Hormazabal moving to her right side. She dribbles with her right as well. Engineers moving from right to left as Iqbal Seta pokes a pass away from Sienna Smith. And Bombers moving from left to right in the white jerseys and blue stripes. Iqbal Seta, the finger roll, gets the Bombers going early here in the third quarter. It's 23-22 with 9 minutes and 30 seconds remaining here in quarter number 3.
And wasting no time, straight to her right side.
Ithaca with the press. Emma Waite tries to make a move on Hormazabal. She gets the pass off to Callie Flynn. Now here's Smith to Gallagher on the near side. Gallagher overhead pass, tries to hit Flynn, but Micah blocks it away. Here's Yorio with it, sends a pass just long of the reaches of Anya Watkins, who was moving quick in transition.
And Yorio there doing a good job transitioning over the floor, but trying to do too much. And again, it goes back to the Bombers sometimes having to just learn to slow down the offense.
Bombers back in the press. It's Smith on the inbound. She finds Flynn. Wade almost got a hand in the lane. Hormazabal moving down the near side, now back towards the center of the court. To her left now, kicks out for Gallagher. Gallagher towards the baseline, underneath the basket, spins on Micah. The jump shot doesn't fall. Sienna Smith gets the second chance putback points. 25-22 with 8:51 here in quarter number 3. Emma Waite, the leading facilitator on this team, has taken that rollover from Iqbal Seta. She's been taking a couple more shots as Micah moves in on the low block. The jump shot off the glass.
And a nice job again from Micah this whole entire game, physically working very strong down low.
So here's RPI back on the offensive possession. It's Flynn trying to work on Yorio, but she manages to get some hands in her face. It's 25-24 as Yorio stops her feet and hands it off to Waite. Now swings it out back to Yorio. And Iqbal Seta will slow it down, dribbles on her right side, kicks it out to the left. Here's Yorio. Moving it around the horseshoe as Iqbal Seta bangs it off the hardwood for Waite, who's at the low block. She moves it back out just beyond the arc, goes behind her back, trying to cross her up, and just is off on the shot. Got it to hit the rim. The shot clock still rang regardless. And that one falls out of bounds off a Bomber foot.
Yeah, really tough there. You like the aggressiveness from Micah on the long rebound, but the Bombers, again, no momentum down the lane.
So here's Gallagher on the near side, just beyond the arc. She's guarded by Micah. Back out to Hormazabal, who moves back towards the center stripe, calling out plays and calling for motion. Moves to the right, dribbles between her legs. Wade is on her, tries to drive towards the baseline. Here's Flynn now. Flynn, the jump shot, no good, and Yorio has the rebound. Moving quick in transition. Yorio off to Iqbal Seta, almost got it taken away. Yorio into the paint now, kick out for Micah. Micah back to Watkins and off the glass. Couple more tricky passes, a little fun work for the Bombers there.
Right baseline drive, top of the key, Micah, left baseline to Watkins, really good possession.
So Ithaca with the lead here in the third quarter, 26-25 with just under 7 minutes to go. It's Gallagher driving towards the net in an easy layup. Gallagher, she'll pick up her eight points of the game and a timeout called.
And a strong possession there on the RPI end. Back-to-back times where Yorio had some really strong defense, but the Engineers not going away from what's working. Ithaca's been forced to adapt all night long, and right now, just neither side has played consistent enough to take a lead. Just 1 point difference. That's really where it's been for the whole entire game. Right now, the largest lead has been just 2 points on the Engineers' side. Or excuse me, a 6-point lead for the Engineers is the largest. The Bombers had a 2-point lead very early on.
Incredibly low-scoring game as well, 27-26. Really a battle of the defenses, and more so the story of cold shots as well. The Bombers shooting 27% from the floor right now. RPI a little bit better at 37.9, but haven't had as many attempts, so haven't been able to convert as much. Bombers go back to work. It's Micah with the baseline drive, tries to kick it out to Watkins, who was guarded by 2 defenders. Hermazabal moving quick in transition. She caught a pass from Gallagher and makes it 29-26. Here's Watkins, top of the key, shoulder down for Yorio, and she gets it off the glass. Makes it a 1-point game yet again, 29-28. Smith moving to her right and back to her left. Here's Gallagher. She'll try for the 3-point shot. It just swirls out. Quick possessions back and forth as Waite posts up. Jump shot, no. Rebound Micah off the end of the basket. Waite has the rebound and no good again. 3 offensive boards for the Bombers and nothing to show for it.
Man, that was such an unfortunate possession there for the Bombers. 3 wide open layups. You get the offensive rebound that many times. The offensive rebounds to the second chance points just don't add up right now for Ithaca.
Just can't cash in on those second chance opportunities. An important thing to do too, you're doing all that hard work to get the offensive rebound. You might as well pick up the points for it. Engineers back to work. It's still 29-28. Gallagher now to her left side at the free throw line, bodies up Micah, and fadeaway shot goes down. 31-28 with about 5.5 minutes to go. Ichabal set it to Waite, dishes it for Micah. Little off-kilter pass, but she corrals it. Here's Yorio now on the far side. Ichabal set it back towards the center, bangs a pass off of Smith's hand. Now Yorio on the baseline. Watkins jumper, dead center.
And somebody had to hit a shot, and finally an open mid-range goes.
31-30, back to a 1-point game with 5 minutes to go. Gallagher fakes for the layup. She'll hand it off to Smith. Smith all alone in the paint and gets it to fall. 33-30.
And now 10 points for Smith, just taking what she wants down the lane.
Smith averaging about 13 points a game, 6th in the Liberty League in scoring. You got to guard her a little bit closer than others. Here's Waite on the near side, bangs it off the hardwood for Watkins, denied by Callie Flynn, the league leader in blocks. Here's Gallagher now at the low block. Swings a pass over for Smith. Now here's Rowe, baseline drive down the lane and fouled by Micah. So the and one, 35-30, with a chance to make it a 6-point game.
And Micah not happy with herself. Back-to-back possessions. The one before, Smith kind of using the body down low. Once again, Micah there just outworked physically. She'll head to the bench here. Bombers bring in Dixon, but here come the Engineers. Back-to-back really good possessions, and right now just mentally stronger in the paint.
Rowe's free throw falls. So 36-30 and RPI in the press. Got to take care of the ball in this game. That was going to be key. Both of these teams very good at forcing turnovers. Watkins can't find anybody, now finds Waite, who brings it back out past the arc. Bounce pass and 3 Engineers guarding Anya Watkins. It finds the hands of Tyler Hermazabal. Rainbows a pass to Smith, drives on Yorio, but she travels right before Yorio can get the foul.
Just so many possessions where the Bombers make a turnover and then RPI can hold on to momentum. They make a turnover right back. Waite there just trying to do too much and force it to Yorio right now. What RPI is doing is they're closing out on the post with Yorio. Ithaca has to find a different way to score right now if Yorio's double teamed.
And part of what the Bombers have done so well in recent games has been playing fast. It looks like RPI very much has them completely just in a stagnant state right now.
They're extremely slowed down. Yorio makes the turnover there. Now Gill comes in the game, Waite out. Just a lack of scoring on the floor and people that can take over the game with the perimeter shooting.
Bombers' biggest challenge this season has been finding that consistent shooter it's showing right now. 36-30 with 3 minutes and 30 seconds to go here in quarter number 3. Smith moving just backwards. She backpedals into Ikabalseta and bangs it off the glass and in. 38-30 and the biggest lead for the Engineers of the night. Dixon to the far side finds Gill. Gill dishes it to Ikabalseta, who feeds Drevna. Drevna checking back in. Here's Dixon, straightaway 3. Hormazabal gets a tricky hand on that. Layup is good. 40-30. Engineers with a 10-point lead, and Coach Raymond needs a timeout.
Largest lead, and the third quarter, the biggest switch right now. Ithaca looks tired, fatigued, the energy is dead, and RPI just inside right now. It's becoming too easy. It's just taking a quick shoulder bump and right to the rack. Taking over right now are the Engineers. You have 3 different players in double-digit scoring, and man, for the Bombers offense, 28%, you're 1 for 14 from deep, not a recipe for success.
And it's in these moments that as an athlete, you know, Coach Raymond has talked about when you go cold from the floor, what do? You try and get to the free throw stripe. You try and work on the interior and get some shots to fall to gain some confidence. But the Bombers can't even find anything on the interior. RPI defense doing a really good job being disciplined down low as well.
And we talked about, too, and, you know, not to harp too much on the perimeter shooting, but how much that can change a basketball game right now. That's why Ithaca was so good in the last few years, especially last season with this similar lineup. But when you had Cameron Coffey that could sit on a wing, sit in the corner, and make a big shot, someone on the floor right now has to be the player that is going to take a contested shot but hit a big shot right now. It can't be a long possession of passing and finding every way to work the interior when RPI is taking that over. The perimeter shooting, someone has to take over and come to life.
And more frustrating even more because your most recent memory is shooting 50% from 3 in that St. Lawrence game. Bombers need a Liberty League win, too. They're just 1 win out of tying Vassar for that league-leading first place. 6-1 right now, Vassar at 7-1. RPI at 4-4. Couple of silly losses a little bit early in the season for the Engineers as Ikabalseta bullets a pass to Yorio on the interior. Yorio can't get it to go. Finally on the hook shot, she's fouled. 40-30 with about 2.5 minutes to go. Yorio will take a couple shots from the stripe.
They almost moved Yorio there instead of her being on the right block. They kind of had her more in the high post and then let herself drive down the lane. That's a nice switch, and it causes RPI to defend a little bit differently, defend behind Yorio instead of in front of her.
First free throw is good. So 31 points for the Bombers, 40 for the Engineers. Yorio shooting about 70% from the stripe so far this season. She knocks down her second and makes it an 8-point game. Bombers need a couple defensive stops to keep this one in range. 2.5 minutes to go here in quarter number 3. Hormazabal drives down the high lane. Now here's Gallagher at the wing, moving into the post. She tries a hook shot, that one banging off the rim. Here's Drevna now with the rebound. Long pass over to Gill, who tries for the 3 ball. That one just to the left on the near side. Hormazabal with the rebound. Tries to get a pass off to Ashlyn O'Neal, who was in the paint, but Maddie Gill gets a hand on it, so a turnover for the Bombers there. Ikabalseta slows it down and tries to hand it off to Gill. Gallagher got a hand in there, though, and poked it away. She regains control. Here's Yorio now driving towards the baseline. Feed for Dixon. Her long-range jumper, no good. Gill has the rebound and 1. You talk about someone new coming in and trying a couple contested shots, getting a couple to fall. It seems like for the Bombers, the freshman in Maddie Gill has been that option quite frequently this season.
And that's a spark right there for Gill, just crashing the board. Open shot for Dixon, in and out, and Gill keeping her body in the air.
And she misses her free throw, so 40-32. Engineers still with the lead. Here's O'Neal now trying to find Rojic on the inside. That one's taken away by Ikabalseta, moving quick in transition. Gill with the 3 ball. That one just short and to the right again. And kick out pass for Ashlyn O'Neal. Engineers regain control with about a minute left on the clock here in quarter number 3. Hormazabal Feeds Rojic, now for Julia Rowe, driving to the high block. One-handed shot, and that one rolls in. 42-34 correction on the scoreboard there. Back to an 8-point game. Here's Gill at the straightaway. Finds Drevna down low. Swing out pass for Dixon. That's at her feet. And finally, Ikabalseta gets the triple try. Yes! Second three-pointer made in this entire basketball game.
And both by Zoraida.
42-37. Ikabalseta, one of the most consistent shooters for the Bombers, finally trying to get her going a little bit. Here's O'Neal trying to respond with a three ball of her own. She can't hit. And Yorio corrals it. Excuse me, Watkins. Watkins already with 10 points tonight. She couples that with her first rebound. The rebound leader on this Bombers team. She tries a little bit of a contested pass to Gill. That one knocked away. Gill driving down the lane, and she's turned away by Gallagher. Gallagher moving to her left side at the low block off the glass, misses long. Ikabalseta tries for the prayer here at the end of the third quarter. It's 42-37, that three ball closing the gap just a little bit more.
Big three there from Zoraida to hit that and, kind of cut this deficit down just a little bit. Gill with the big and one. But now this fourth quarter, you have to play a clean 10 minutes. RPI has shown what their brand of basketball is going to be. They've been consistent all night in what they're going to do well. The Bombers have had spurts. Now the spurts need to end. You have to play your best 10 minutes right now because you know what you're going to get from RPI. It just comes down to what team are the Bombers going to bring out for the final 10.
And, we talked about it a little bit in the history between these two teams. At this point, it would be a historic win for the Engineers. The first time they've won in this gymnasium in over 20 years, 25 years almost, as well as the first time they've won in the last 10 matchups between these two teams. So both of these teams obviously fighting really hard, and more so than that, the Liberty League has been super shaken up this year. RPI, like we mentioned, at 4-4, but three other teams as well tied at that 4-4 mark. So still room to sneak into the playoffs. RPI has a lot to play for. Ithaca trying to vie for that first place spot a little bit. They have a couple tough games coming down the stretch.
And for RPI, too, a tough loss against Skidmore and Vassar over the last 2 weekends, two of the other top teams over the last few seasons. That game against Vassar, in overtime, you lose by 1. This is one of those basketball games where you want to boost your confidence and get over that hump of beating a top 3 team in the Liberty League. And RPI knows that they're right here, but it's finally seeing that win against a top team, what that can do for an Engineer squad.
38 points in the paint for the Engineers in that Vassar game. Outscored them in the third quarter to a huge surge, and then neck and neck in the fourth to be able to take it into OT. They just dropped that one 57-58 in overtime as we're back to work here in the fourth quarter. It's do or die for Ithaca. Here's Yorio in the paint working on Rowe. Tries to bang it off the left side of the glass. She can't get it, and a foul call.
It's going to go against Yorio, just an off-ball foul, and not the strong start the Bombers won. Just going to be Yorio's second foul, though.
Bombers in the full court press, trying to get possession back. Hormazabal works it down the near side. She's pestered by Emma Waite. Finally gets it to the arc, trying to move down the lane, and a travel. Jump ball, they'll call it. Possession error was with the Engineers.
You're going to learn a lot, too, in the first 2 minutes of this quarter. If RPI right now, this is where they can have the put-away punch on these next few possessions.
42-37 with 9.5 minutes to go. Hormazabal on the inbound. Finds Ashlyn O'Neal. O'Neal had a hot start to the season. She's been quiet. Here's Smith on the inside. She passes it out to Gallagher beyond the arc. Now here's Rowe at the straightaway. Moves to her left side. Rainbow pass over to Gallagher, who's trying over Maka, and she's fouled.
Foul trouble is the one thing that could kill the Bombers in this quarter. And Mika's going to pick up her fourth foul, too. So she's one away from fouling out.
Hormazabal gets it off to Gallagher on the far side. That one poked away by Ikabalseta. She was trying to find Sienna Smith in the paint there, just at the high block area. No baskets scored so far here in this fourth quarter. A lot of inbounding going on. Smith on the far side. Bounce pass to Hormazabal, who puts her body into Emma Waite, works around her off the glass. Yorio has the rebound. Yorio with 15 rebounds tonight as Meka has the finger roll but can't hit it. So it'll stay scoreless with just under 9 minutes to go now.
And this is the slow pace RPI wants.
Smith moves to her left side now for Gallagher. Working it around the horseshoe now. O'Neal tries to go into the paint with it. Kick out pass for Hormazabal. Wide open three-way long. And right into the hands of Libby Meka. Meka working quick at the low block. She's fouled on the layup track. Kind of banged off the underneath of the basket, way off, maybe moving a little bit too quick her feet were for her hands.
But you like there for the Bombers, RPI having trouble getting back, Micah taking it and taking advantage, but taking matters into their own hands, getting right under the hoop, and just forcing a shot up, getting to the free throw line, as you mentioned.
Micah makes her first. A 4-point game now. Ithaca starting to close the gap. Just misses her second. That one long off the back iron. Only 7 free throws for the Bombers here, too, in this game. They're used to getting to the free throw line. That's kind of their specialty, playing physical. Here's Julia Rowe on the far side wing. Layup off the glass. Too easy.
And finally for the Bombers, just getting some things that they want.
Bombers can't hold on to the basketball. It's 44-38 with 8 minutes to go. That one goes out of bounds. Underneath their own basket, it'll be Sienna Smith. Bounce pass to O'Neal. She's guarded by her numerical counterpart in Junie Dixon. Screen set by Julia Rowe. She finds some space. Here's Gallagher now on the near side, guarded by Yorio. Almost takes a step out of bounds. Hormazabal from 3. No good. And Ichabal Seta. Bullet pass to Waite. Lays it off the glass and good. So finally that 40-point mark reached for the Bombers, 44-40 with 7.5 minutes to go. Here's O'Neal with it, moving to the right side wing. Now Smith pokes it out of bounds. Ichabal Seta got a hand on it. She kind of just let it go.
Finally for the Bombers there, just getting in transition. RPI needs to set up on defense to be successful. That's what Ithaca needs to change here in the fourth.
Only 18 fouls, too, called by these referees. Either a really clean game or a physical one. Hard to tell. Smith works into the paint. Kick out pass for Gallagher at the straightaway. She's at the free throw line now. Back out to Smith. 3 ball just off the back iron. Hormazabal with the rebound. Dispossessed by Emma Waite and kicks it out to Dixon. They'll get the breakaway. Now here's Ichabal Seta near side. Long range jumper for Yorio, but wide open and knocks it down.
Tough shot, though. Yorio was an inch away from making that a 3. It's one of the most unfortunate shots in basketball, but the Bombers will take it.
44-42. And RPI calls a timeout. Coach John Green wants to have a word.
Strongest start to a quarter that we've seen, though. The Bombers right now have been outscored in every single quarter, and that makes sense in a game like this and how close it's been, and RPI has just had the full head of steam. But Ithaca coming out right now with a fourth quarter lead. When you look at quarter by quarter, now they have to really hold on to this and stay where they are right now and avoid foul trouble.
And a timeout right now for the Engineers can kill some of that Bomber momentum. Coach John Green, one of the most seasoned coaches in this Liberty League, taking a timely timeout really there. His counterpart on the other side, Dan Raymond, the other most seasoned coach, just picked up his 500th win of the season, of his career, I should say, very recently.
And you have to think for RPI too, and as a seasoned head coach, knowing the history here and what this win could do.
Smith on the inbound to O'Neal. She's at the center of the court. Hands it off for Costello, just checked in. Costello moving with a lot of speed, hands it off to Smith, who drives towards the baseline on Ichabal Seta. Trying to put her body into her. Ichabal Seta gets a hand on the ball, but a foul called. Reach in.
Looks like the Bombers, too, also wanted a 3-second violation against the Engineers. Not going to get it, just that reach on Zoraida.
So here's O'Neal on the near side. She's driving at the baseline, puts an elbow into Yorio, and gets the layup to fall, 46-42. Ichabal hands it off for Emma Waite, who dishes it to Yorio on the near side wing. Ichabal right into the hands of Smith, trying to find Watkins down low. Smith bounce pass to Costello, who just bangs it off the glass, but manages to corral the rebound. Here's Hormazabal now on the far side wing. Now for Julia Rowe. Rainbow pass into the paint. And a 3-second violation. Noah reach-in foul, another one by Ichabal.
Trying to jump over the back there of Smith. That's that mismatch. Not huge in height, but Smith really physical, posting up and force Zoraida to kind of jump over her back shoulder. Ithaca's also going to pick up their 4th foul here in the 4th, so nearing that bonus.
Smith on the inbound, can't find anyone. Bounce pass straight to Ichabal. Now here's Yorio working quick in transition. Finger roll no good, but the foul called. 46-42, a 4-point deficit for the Bombers with just under 6 minutes to go.
And this is where you want foul shots. As you mentioned before, when Coach Raymond's talking about when you're struggling, slow the game down, get to the free throw line, some easy points. This is where the Bombers, though, they have to hit here from the line.
Some confidence building going for the Bombers as Yorio knocks down her first. 46-43, and she's 3 for 3 from the stripe so far. Bangs the second off the back iron. Watkins has the rebound. 3-ball from Waite, just long. Yorio with the rebound. Second chance, no good, but fouled. More shots coming for the Bombers.
And Yorio picking up her, looked like 16th or 17th rebound on these last few possessions. High pointing down low, and we talked about the height differential. Yorio, though, you look at height and just physicality, very tough to stop her.
17 rebounds on the offensive side for the Bombers as well. Just those second chance points not falling as Yorio hits her first and drains her second. So she's got a double-double tonight, 12 points and about 16 rebounds right now. Not too shabby. Makes it a 1-point game, 46-45 with under 6 minutes to go, I should say. As Smith trying to do more of the same, bodying up Dixon. She manages to get a hand on the ball, though, and stop her from penetrating.
Really good defense there from Dixon down low. And in this game, Dixon more of a guard, but a 5'9" guard against this taller RPI team. Defensively, she's being asked to play the forward position, and a really good job rising up to the occasion.
And you got to think, Cam, that if one of those Ithaca defenders just plants their feet and they fall over, that's an offensive foul. Gallagher gets the inbound to Smith, who stops her dribble and tries to hand it off to Gallagher, but she can't hang on to it. So Ichabal passes it off to Waite on the far side. Dixon from the wing hits it from 3, and the Bombers have the lead. 48-46 here with 5 minutes to go. Dixon coming off injury, hasn't played too many minutes. In fact, hasn't scored more than 2 points in a game since her injury. And she drains a big-time 3 there as Costello tries to drive into the lane. Waite pokes it away, but it'll stay Engineer basketball.
And now the Bombers have ignited a lot of momentum, the energy. Now they're forcing RPI to play faster and score.
Here's Flynn with it. Gallagher with an open look from 3. She'll opt to dribble into the paint. Gets that shot to go. And a foul called on Anya Watkins.
Very close call there on that, if that was going to be an and one or a foul on the floor, but Gallagher just in motion, and she ties it up. What a response there from the Engineers.
So 10 points for Gallagher. She'll get a chance for 11 here. Her free throw goes down, and it's 49-48. Engineers back with the lead. Neck and neck here. The swing of the pendulum here in quarter number 4. Ichabal calls out some plays and finally dishes it off to Watkins on the near side wing. Here's Dixon at the straightaway now. Looking for someone, finally finds Emma Waite on the far side wing. Waite dribbles hard, just beyond the arc and into the paint. She tries to jump for it. Jump shot for Dixon from 3, just short. And Engineers have the rebound. Really good job, good effort by Emma Waite to keep that ball in play. Gallagher now swinging it to the far side for Rowe, who tries to body up Yorio. Here's Gallagher now. At the high post, trying to move in on Iqbal Seta. She throws her shoulder into her, and Smith is left wide open in the paint. Watkins tries to bat it away, and she's called for a foul.
Man, tough call there from the refereeing crew. It looked like Iqbal Seta bumped the whole entire way. Shoulders were lower on her. Smith misses the shot. Both sides aggressive for the rebound, but Watkins a little bit too much over the top. The Bombers, though, hoping for a foul right before that.
Smith drills her first free throw, makes it a 2-point game. Coach Raymond and Iqbal Seta both not happy about that foul, nor the missed call down low. So Smith gets her second to go, 51-48. Smith with 13 points tonight. She's tied for the team lead in that category, hits her average. Here's Yorio on the far side wing. Hands it off to Iqbal Seta. Iqbal Seta shovels it over to Waite. Waite from beyond the arc now drives to the low block. Layup is good. 50 points for the Bombers to the Engineers 51. 3 minutes and 30 seconds to go here. Smith trying to find Gallagher. She's tied up by Iqbal Seta. Long range jumper doesn't fall. And Yorio has the rebound. Who's going to pick it up? It'll be Yorio. She'll hand it off to her guard in Junie Dixon, and she'll pass it off to Iqbal Seta. Calls the 2-2 switch. Here's Waite, bullet pass into the paint for Watkins. Kick out pass for Iqbal Seta, just saves it from going out of bounds on the far side. Now here's Emma Waite with 4 seconds on the shot clock. Will she get it off? She throws it up and just rings in and out. 51-50. Smith with it at the straightaway, drives towards the high block. That goes off her foot, and a turnover in a timely manner for the Bombers. Waite moving quick in transition. Bounce pass to Yorio off the glass and in. 52-51, Bombers with the lead with about 2:30 to go.
And they take advantage in transition.
That's their game, playing quick in transition. They want to do that a little bit more. Costello kicks it out to Gallagher beyond the arc. Gallagher driving to the low block, and Iqbal Seta will be called for the foul there. So Iqbal Seta will pick up her third. Two shots for Amanda Gallagher, who's already got 13 so far this evening. Gallagher dead center on her first. Makes it a tie ball game at 52-52. Gallagher makes her second, puts the Engineers back in the lead. Having a great game tonight. Her last game above 10 points was on January the 4th. So finally breaking a little bit of a dry streak for her. Emma Waite hands it off for Dixon, who calls for motion from Yorio. Now Dixon back to Waite. Waite at the straightaway. Shovel pass for Dixon, the 3-ball, yes! She's got it. 55-53, Junie Dixon with 2 made threes. Hormazabal trying to run the clock down a little bit. 1 minute and 37 seconds to go. Here's Rowe trying to put the shoulder down on Watkins. Now Costello moving quick into the lane. Throws up a hook shot, and Watkins has the rebound. Timely possessions here for the Bombers. Need to run out the clock a little bit, maybe score one more basket, and they've got this one. Here's Dixon now on the near side. Dixon bounce pass to Iqbal Seta, who moves down the lane, and she's fouled by Hormazabal.
Tough foul there for the Engineers. But again, almost the good fouls. Right when it had the open look, it's a reach. They inbound here, and Dan Raymond's going to call a timeout.
One of those moments where your team has a lot of momentum, maybe just need to calm them down a little bit, you know, say, hey, we got this.
And it's a time, too, where the Bombers, you know, finally here down the stretch, 8 points for Dixon. She has 6 here in the fourth quarter with those 2 big threes. The Bombers now 2 for 5 from downtown in this fourth quarter. The one thing they needed all night was for a few of these shots to fall, and we were wondering who's going to be the player tonight to hit the big shots, take it into their own hands. Dixon kind of coming back from this injury, finding her groove once again. When she's on, and she truly is one of the best players in the conference when she is in that rhythm.
Went down with that injury against SUNY New Paltz, and that really great win for the Bombers. She had started in every game until then. Now she's coming off the bench. She hasn't had more than 2 points in a game since, still trying to get maybe recalibrated after that injury. No points for St. Lawrence, and now comes up with 2 big threes tonight.
Huge threes, and now the Bombers, they're going to have this inbound here. They know how big of a possession this is right now. To score, you put RPI on the ropes, you make them rush, you make them foul. Just having a very smart possession right now. Good timeout by Dan Raymond to get this team in system and find your best play out of the inbound.
And something that he told us, Cam, too, was that composure was going to play a big factor in these 2 games that we were going to see this weekend, whether it be because of chippiness or just some mismatches in terms of style of play or frustration on size. Bombers get the inbound, and here's Yorio at the straightaway. Iqbal Seta on the wing on the far side. Rainbow pass to Watkins, back out to Yorio, mid-range jumper just short, and Gallagher has the board. 55-53 with under a minute to go, 50 seconds on the clock, and Hormazabal working down the near side. To her right side here. Hormazabal trying to kill the clock a little bit as well. Moving to the far wing. Here's Julia Rowe. Rowe moving into the paint, trying to work in on Watkins, and a travel.
Almost seemed like there on the RPI side, they'll take a timeout. They didn't even want to travel. They thought that she didn't take that extra third step, but you see here for RPI, they're not at their best when they're forced to score. They play so well from ahead. Now you're forcing RPI to make big shots, work from the perimeter. Ithaca's almost forcing them to shoot. They finally have closed off the interior, and Ithaca with this 2-point lead. In these final 30 seconds, RPI, they need to find something and really take a contested shot at some point.
And 0.3 seconds separate the shot clock in the game clock. So it's going to be a tall task if Ithaca can run out that shot clock, maybe get one more to fall. But still definitely probable for the Engineers. And man, what a win would mean for this team right now. You move to 5-4 in the conference. You know, close that gap a little bit more as you look down the stretch towards making that Liberty League tournament. They missed out on it last year just by a win, and trying to get back into that spot. You bring back quite a few of your players. You bring in a couple talented freshmen. And this team has been looking good so far. Like we said, contested Vassar, couple tough losses to William Smith, but you know, as the season goes along, sometimes you figure out those little kinks and those things that you need to work out.
And for the Bombers, too, to win this game, if they can hold on, RPI has led for 31 minutes. Ithaca's led for 3. They've led for the last 2. So what that does as well, to be behind the whole night but crawl back.
Yeah, and there's something to be said for a team that can crawl all the way back from a deficit and show that mental toughness. The Bombers have been doing that a lot this season. Can they continue to do that? Engineers in the press, and it'll be Dixon with the ball. She stopped at the free throw line on the RPI side. Smith is on Iqbal Seta now. She throws a pass over to Yorio. And an off-ball foul on Sienna Smith. So 18 seconds left on the clock. Shot clock is dark currently. And RPI will take a second to draw up some plays.
Yeah, they'll have the basketball here, and they held the Bombers there on that side of half court for the full 10 as well. There was that, looked like a reach on the Bombers and Smith getting active, but they'll call that 10-second violation. So RPI brings out a full press, stops the Bombers, and now RPI is going to have a chance here with 18.4. They could look for a quick 2 and tie the game, or they could find that one shot to tie it up. It depends what they want to bring to the table. In my eyes here, if you find the open look to tie up the game, but at the same time, too, don't wind things down and huck up a contested shot with 1 second left and just try to win the game there.
And, you know, now this RPI team, too, is experienced in overtime. You have that overtime game against Vassar early on in the season as well. They played in an overtime game. 2 OT losses, but, you know, third time's a charm. So you never know what could happen if you get that shot. Got to put it up. It'll be Sienna Smith on the inbound, the Engineers' leading scorer. Smith, one of the seniors on this team, finds Costello, who's at the low block. She falls to the floor, and a jump ball called.
Well, they might have given RPI the timeout just in time. By maybe a second, RPI is going to get the timeout off.
Man, 15 seconds on the clock, and very well timed by the referees. Engineers weren't super successful last season, 9-16 overall, 6-12. They've really turned that around this year, 10-5 overall, 4-4. They come into this one off a win over Bard, where they got to put just every player on their roster in, get them a couple minutes, get them a couple shots off. So a lot of confidence as you move into this game against Ithaca. And as for the Bombers, things have finally been able to fall into place. You have those tough non-con games, but you've won 4 in a row, and the chance to take the lead in the Liberty League, or at least tie the lead in the Liberty League. It's a big game for both sides.
And both coaches know how tough it is to win on the road in this conference. And if you can just steal those road wins and then rely on your team late in the season to win the home doubleheaders, to come on this long weekend, starting with RPI and then Skidmore, a great team, to just take one on the road could be big, especially how they've had to come back. But they need to stop here on this possession.
These two teams aren't done with each other either. They'll see them, each of them, later on in February as Hormazabal can't find the inbound. Finally, rainbows the pass to Smith, and Yorio on the reach-in foul.
You just cannot foul there if you're Yorio. No reason to reach. 13-second shot clock dark. You have to be smart enough to lay off and just allow the inbound in.
Smith with a chance to tie the game here as she drains her first. Smith now with 15 points. She's 5 for 7 from the stripe. And make that 6 for 8. She ties the game up at 55-55 apiece. 13 seconds on the clock, excuse me.
They're actually going to say shot's no good. They're going to say Sienna Smith fouled her shot too early and stepped on the line.
And that's something as a referee that's so hard to call. You're just watching that foot on the line. You don't see it called very often, even if it does happen. But in a game like this with, you know, you're 54-55, you got to be watching it there.
Smith kind of felt like that shot was going to be short, and before it touched the rim, her body kind of leaned forward, naturally going for the rebound. It's the right call, but a call in that spot when it goes in, you almost kind of take the basketball out of both teams' hands. Really, really tough call, but at the end of the day, it is the right call. Foot just on the line when that ball is currently still in the air.
And you have to respect it, because you get into this conversation about, okay, do you let the women play here in this fourth quarter of basketball, not call maybe what you were calling in the first quarter, and you can't do that as a referee. You got to stay consistent. You got to stay level-headed. That's what frustrates coaches more than anything. As Maka gets the inbound past Ika Balsetta, she's fouled by Costello. 55-54 with 12 seconds remaining on the clock, and Ika Balsetta will have 2. Her first free throws of the night. Ika Balsetta, a 73.9% shooter from the stripe. She puts her first in. Makes it a one-possession game, 56-54. Chance to force the 3. And shot falls down, 12 seconds to go, 57-54. And here's Sienna Smith on the far side. 7 seconds on the clock now, pass to Hormazabal. And she's fouled by Libby Maka.
And a smart foul there, because RPI is obviously going to go for the 3 for the tie. Now you slow things down. They have to, even if they make both free throws, you're down by 1, you get free throws. And tough there from Micah, even though the game is about to end. She will foul out with the intentional foul.
A conversation, too, about Libby Micah that could be had is the fact that she has been in foul trouble quite a bit. Obviously, that one there intentional. As Hormazabal drains her first, 55-57, RPI trails. Hormazabal misses her second. So she'll go 1 for 2 from the stripe tonight. 5 seconds on the clock. And that'll just about do it for this one. Ithaca will call the timeout here and take a second just to make sure they have things under control.
Yeah, it's a rushed free throw there. You're trying to look for the intentional miss and an RPI rebound. If Ithaca gets the ball in here, RPI is going to foul. Probably be 3 seconds left, and Ithaca can close it with the free throws. But this last possession, too, RPI did hold Ithaca to that 10-second violation. You really only need a 5-second violation on the inbound, so we'll see what the Engineers bring out defensively.
5.1 seconds on the clock here for Ithaca's 7th Liberty League win. It'll put them at 8-7 if they come out on top of this one. Or it could move them to 6-2 and 7-8. Dixon will be the inbounder. She's guarded by Gallagher. Little size mismatch there. Can't find someone. Finally finds Ika Balsetta with 3 seconds on the clock, and she's fouled.
A second away from a 5-second violation, and RPI is getting the basketball. That's how close that play was defensively.
And you got to respect it, too, from the Engineers when the game is this tight, you know, to play that sort of defense. As Ika Balsetta drains her first. 58-55. And that one just in and out. So she's 3 for 4 from the stripe as Gallagher chucks one towards the basket, and it bangs off the bottom of the glass. So that'll do it here from EVAC Stadium, a 58-55 win for the Bombers. One that seemed very improbable in those first and second quarters, considering the missed shots that we were seeing from them.
And they finally, though, found a way. It's one of those wins where you find a way. It was very ugly. You turn over the ball. You don't shoot well, but you come out of here with a win. You lead for the final 4 minutes, the 4 minutes that matter, and you close out this basketball game. They hit more shots late, and the one quarter that they played better in was the fourth quarter. Credit to the Bombers' defense, keeping things close so things never got out of hand here tonight.
Yeah, doing a good job, too, keeping the fouls low, keeping everything under control, not letting free throws get away from you. Bombers shooting 29%. In that first quarter, they ended out shooting 50% from the floor. So they'll pick up their 7th Liberty League win, tied for first in the conference, depending on what Vassar did tonight, of course. They'll move to 8-7 overall as well. The Engineers will move on. Tomorrow, they'll take on RIT. And stay tuned. We'll have the men's game coming up here. Cam Manna, Randa DeCrow. We'll be right back shortly.